You have this title of The Voice of Dubai.
Join us for a show that has to make you think and make sure that you grow for more. It's really, I don't know how I do it.
Give me some tips how to improve my voice.
First of all, you identify what type are you.
You are the voice of Dubai. What would be the sound of Dubai? What is a brand identity or brand voice?
What I do is called sonic branding.
I personally believe in sonic branding, and I've seen the impact that the sonic branding has made on a global level.
I think you can help people get up to 100x. Why should a brand be known by its sound? It's not about it being known by its sound. It's about the entire thing coming together.
Not every brand audio identity or sonic music goes viral. It can be a flop as well. How many flops have you created?
Sound gives birth to visuals. How do we create a signature that represents an entire brand?
It's the emotional connection that you create with the audience.
Immediate and simultaneous connection you create with the audience in a level, in a part of your brain that is beyond the visual.
When we open our TV
and you want to watch Netflix, what do you hear?
Ta-dam! There is a voice that we hear all over Dubai every day. But not many people have seen the face behind that voice. It's the voice that actually guides us, welcomes us, talks to us at almost all the public places across Dubai. I sat down with the man behind this voice. We had a very candid and light-hearted conversation. We talked about purpose, identity, and the impact that one can create through voice and music. I found out that this gentleman is extremely calm, thoughtful, and impactful. Very, very deep. It's not just his voice that creates the impact. It's the sonic music that he creates for many, many brands across Dubai, Middle East, and across the world that has touched the hearts of millions of people around. Today's episode is extremely special. It's about being human. It's about creating that 10x impact on the lives of people. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing you to Ahmed Hafar, known as the voice of Dubai. Let's dive in. Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Mr. Muhammad, good morning.
Thank you so much.
What a beautiful logo. I walked in here and I saw Think and Grow 10x. I think you can help people get up to 100x.
We can, definitely.
I mean,
we'll start with 10x.
We'll start with 10x, exactly. We'll start with 10x.
Yeah, so 10x is your 10x growth multiple times.
Your 10x growth multiple times. I like
Absolutely.
that. I like that. I think that's cool. I think when you start maximizing something or getting to a certain stage, I think the awareness that comes from that and the way that your brain works is that when you see actual growth, you then know there's a possibility for more growth.
Yeah.
So I think the whole point of 10x is to be an entry point to the idea of growth.
Correct.
Rather than the actual 10x itself.
Absolutely. Just to elaborate on this a little bit more, it's not 10x literally 10 times. It can be one of the ways of looking at it, but it's exponential growth.
Yes.
It's transformational growth.
Yes.
It's changing the mindset from one point to the other.
A completely different one. I agree.
So you turn out to be a completely different entity or a human being or a company.
By the end of it, 100%.
By the end of it. And then you can grow from there multi-times, and it could be 100 times. Thank you so much for joining me, Ahmed. You want to do a very quick intro in your deep, iconic voice that the whole of Dubai hears every day, day in and day out.
With pleasure. It sounds like this when I go all the way down. And it sounds like this in Arabic, like السيدات والسادة, which you've probably heard all over Dubai. I love using my voice, but stay tuned for this show because I'm actually an entrepreneur. I own multiple businesses that have actually made an impact. And I do something that has to do with music that you've probably never heard of. So join us for a show that has to make you think and make sure that you grow for more. Yeah.
And how would you describe Think and Grow 10x in your deep, beautiful, iconic voice?
In life, we like to think. As human beings, thinking is a natural process of what makes us human beings. But at the same time, it's the essence of growth that embodies every single part of us. It's not just about thinking, it's about thinking with purpose. It's about growing with purpose. It's about achieving the things that make us who we are, whenever and however. And with that, think and grow can only go further. But today, with Mr. Muhammad, you can go even further.
That is 10x. Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. So, of course, in Dubai, whoever travels to Dubai or whoever lives in Dubai has heard your voice multiple times, and we
Yes.
hear it on a daily basis in various public places, and
Yes.
it is an absolute honor. I just want to understand what makes your voice so special.
I have no idea. I guess I love, like you, Muhammad, I love thinking of things and helping myself grow. And when I discovered the voice that lives deeper or in a deeper part of my body, I personally didn't understand its own value. I had no idea. But what I did understand is how systematic it sounds, meaning a lot of people think my voice is actually AI, which I find very funny because it's also very consistent for the purposes that it delivers. So I am not a fan of doing, let's say, advertisement voiceovers. And of course, I'm not allowed to do that anymore anyway. But even when I had the opportunity to do that, before joining forces with the Dubai media office, I had every right to do whatever I wanted at the time. But even I wasn't very interested in it. I just liked, I guess, guiding people and telling them what's happening and what they should and shouldn't do. Like that kind of authoritative voice that's very welcoming at the same time. And before I worked with a lot of the governmental entities from Dubai Police and the Opera and the airport and all of that, I actually just would listen to certain announcement voices that just did not match the locations or the level of expertise and the level of quality that especially governmental entities deserved. And I remember one time when I was in the Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo in Dubai Mall with a friend, and there was a woman announcing things, and it was very muffled. I couldn't really understand. But at the same time, it's just there wasn't that whole I'm in the middle of a man-made aquarium that is massive, and there's literally a shark right there. There was no, there's no vibe to it. And I think everything that has to do with the location has to do with the experience of that location. And an announcement voice is part of that experience. And it's part of, combining that. But basically, unifying Dubai with a singular voice that is very consistent, very professional, that has a diverse tonality came naturally over time and with a lot of trial and error. But it was born by mistake and now it's everywhere.
Right. I mean, from a user's point of view or a listener's point of view, the way I hear this voice is that it's sweet, it's deep,
Thank you.
it's reassuring.
Yes.
But a cynic would say that it's the same voice everywhere. You don't make any changes. How would you respond to that?
I would respond to that to the simple fact of, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure everybody on planet Earth knows the jingle for McDonald's that goes,
Yeah.
Exactly, everybody. Yeah, they don't change that, do they? No, it's
Yeah.
on planet Earth, right? And it is something I'm very excited to talk about as well in a bit. But the relevancy to the voice is that it's the same voice everywhere. You should keep it different here, different there. Is that there are iconic voices that are born, iconic artists that are born. It's designed by faith. And when it comes to faith, nobody can challenge that.
So it's the identity. I mean, this is how
identity.
your voice is known for, and you don't need to change it.
No, I mean,
Everyone loves it.
It's
your identity.
It's the identity of where we live.
Yeah.
Because as you're aware, and a lot of people are aware, I work on a global scale, but
Yeah.
I am based in Dubai.
Yeah.
So even if I'm working with companies in Spain, I'm still based in Dubai. So because of that, Dubai is my home, and being, given the whole atmosphere of Dubai, the actual future of Dubai, I mean, the quality of Dubai alone deserves something that is just of that quality. You go to any Hilton on the planet, or you go to any of these major 5-star hotels, what you are kept with is an experience. This is just part of the Dubai experience, I guess.
That's right.
And-
Talking about Dubai, sorry, you have this title of the voice of Dubai.
Which is an honor.
Absolute. And where has this come from? Just want to understand.
It initially started with the media back in 2021 in September, and then it continued with the media, and now it's a bit more than just the media.
That is an absolute honor.
It is an honor.
It is an honor. I mean,
Yes.
it gives you that recognition, I would say.
It's a lot of work, and ironically, it's not just about my voice. It's my voice, my music, my story, my background, my hardships, my car accident, my lack of education, all of the background on me personally.
Yeah.
It was accumulated into that singular output, I guess. But it's also due to the fact that I like to innovate things, and I legitimately innovate things, and from an art perspective. And I believe it's just, how do you make people feel one in a place and feel like that they can recognize something? I mean, who doesn't like to see a friend's face on a bad day? You know, if you're having a bad day, or if you're in a completely I don't know, different type of city, you don't know anybody, and you stumble upon your friend from back home and you see them out of nowhere, like that face alone is going to put you in a much better mood. And that's what I aim to do with my talents.
Yeah, so there's a documentary on you.
Yes, there's
It talks about your life story.
Yes.
You dropped out of school and you had a very, very serious car accident. You mentioned elsewhere that you came back to life.
Yes,
you died?
I died for 46 seconds legally, and I came back to life. And it's all documented and available online.
How can that happen?
Ask my mom. I'm just incomprehensibly grateful that, see, that one is beyond human beings. I'm just grateful to God for a second chance. Even though I was just a passenger in my car accident, I was not responsible in any way, shape, or form. It was not my bad actions. It was none of that. I was literally just sitting in the back seat. But being the only survivor was a very tough thing. And yes, I died for 46 seconds and came back to life. My heart flatlined and came back without medical assistance. And that's a fact.
That's a miracle. That is an
It's a
absolute miracle. And what kind of changes this incident or major accident brought in your life?
It eliminated 90% of any sort of fear I had in my heart, because the journey to becoming healthy again, like learning how to walk, was not easy. Like, I learned how to walk when I was 2 years old. I wasn't expecting to do that again when I was 18. You know what I mean? So learning how to walk again was very serious. Having my hand broken was very serious because I make music, obviously. What I do for a living, by the way. And it was very tough to sort of climb back out from that hole, because it was very mentally deep. And from there on, it just eliminated pretty much all of my fears of what I can and cannot do in life. But it was the culmination of where I was. So for example, I didn't have a high school degree. I had some experience in music, which is what I love doing the most. I had worked with Nancy Ajram, Elise Saif, Wahabi Vivi Amrad, very major Arabic names. I was very, 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 very lucky to be working with them prior to the accident. But it was a new life. First of all, I was welcomed back into life by the people I loved. But I also lost my two closest childhood best friends, the driver and the passenger, who had passed away. So that was not easy. It's not easy for anybody to imagine losing their closest friends.
Of course, that trauma never goes away.
100%.
Right? I mean,
that's why it's been,
of an accident in itself. I mean, losing two very, very close friends.
Yeah.
That
Borderline brothers. Yeah. So that's basically
very sorry
where.
to hear that. And well, I mean, the good thing out of this is that, you sort of, transformed.
Oh, that's what happened. My mom always
exactly.
says after the accident, something clicked in your brain, and now here we are.
Yeah. So you grew 10x essentially after that. That was a transformation.
I would say around 10 to 100.
Yeah.
I would say around 10 to 100 for sure. So that's basically where I was from that mental space point of view. It was not a joke. It was very, very hard. And then, grew from there.
And here you are making a huge impact on the city and in the region.
Luckily for me, most people have no idea. So I get to live a very normal life. And I like that. Like nobody ever, bothers me when I'm having dinner. Thank you very much. And actually, I believe even 90% of the people who do know me don't even know 10% of the things I do.
We'll come to know that right now. So let's start with the brand identity,
My favorite topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we do a logo or start a company, we do a logo and complete brand identity. And we create a brand voice. in your thoughts, what is a brand experience or brand identity or brand voice?
Yeah. First of all, to explain a bit more, what I do is called sonic branding or audio branding. So it does contain a brand voice, by the way, which is a separate thing. I'll get to that in a second. But I love making music since I was a kid. And I never learned music. And I have a very fundamental emotional relationship with sound and music in my own way. And the music I personally am interested in and listen to. I've never turned on a radio in my entire life. I've never listened to the top 50 in my entire life. I've just
so amazing.
Naturally been inclined elsewhere, even as early as 12, 13, whatever. And I play guitar, bass, cello, violin, a bunch of other instruments naturally. So this, I guess, product came to me naturally to me. It was just a very, okay, so how do we create a signature that represents an entire brand, which a lot of people think it's easy because it's like a 3 or 4 second melody. But how do you capture the essence of a brand, the experience of a brand, the messaging of a brand, the growth of a brand, and the timelessness of a brand while making it very catchy and making it memorable and making it timeless, all in 4 seconds. So if anything, it's much easier to do that in a 5-minute piece rather than a 5-second piece. And when I started out in Dubai, because I did start out in Dubai when it comes to this product, like I was love telling people my voice is the most known in Dubai, but my music is way, way beyond this region itself. And I take a lot of pride in that because it was quite a lot of work. And for most of the time, I didn't talk about that work. I just kept working and working and working. But anyway, long story short, I love conceptualizing things from zero. I love researching and I love experiencing. And then when you mix all of that, you get that little magical blender in your head. And then the output is where I guess I stand out.
Right.
And I love the idea of growing a brand beyond where it is today and even taking an actually massive, major brand and just hitting that bullseye in terms of what they sound like.
Right. So you have the expertise on sonic branding. Brand voice overall, to my understanding, is the entire portrayal of a brand. It could include the logo, written communication, or any presentation on media. So that is the brand voice. But when it comes to the audio part, we call it
sonic branding.
Yes.
Yeah. So the brand voice is also included because the kind of music that you create for a brand beyond the 5-second signature will also set in stone the type of visuals, the type of content, the type of hyper content, the type of digital content, and then the type of actual voices that would work with the brand, whether it's from accents to languages to styles of voicing, modulation styles, and everywhere in between. So a sonic branding is basically the equivalent of a visual branding, but in sound. It is today, in today's world, more impactful than visual. And we've got all the data to prove it.
What kind of data there is? I mean, I've done some study on that. Would like to hear from you. I mean, because I personally believe in sonic branding, and I've been doing some research before we met, of course, and I've seen the impact that the sonic branding has made on a global level, regional level, and this city as well.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear from you the impact that it creates.
I have currently done precisely 115 sonic brandings, and I'm talking full scale, A to Z. And usually what they include is the entire brand touch points and even ideas that I come up with. And I make them single-handedly. It's the only product that, regardless of my businesses, I don't let anybody touch. But I have collaborated with some incredible people from a global sonic branding agency to create certain projects as well. And what I can tell you fundamentally is that it is undeniably more important than when I started around 11 years ago. But you'll always find people who believe in it, like yourself, and people who do not, or people who don't see it as a priority or whatever you want to title it. But what I can tell you is, imagine a brand that just has more of it out there and it's being exposed in the right way. And the clients are suited up the right way. And you leave that immediate impact and impression, utilizing the power of emotions and the value of emotional intelligence, and at the same time recall which, to remember,
right, yeah.
and then.
Yeah.
So the amount of assets that it brings to the table, visuals simply cannot do. And 90%, if not more, 99% of ads that are produced, whether short form social media content or full on TVCs, either have composed music for them or like what we call library music, which is music like corporate music you can get online from like libraries and stuff. And that actually hinders the product's capabilities because people listen. Ears exist. And with the rise of TikTok and Instagram, famous audios,
Yeah.
exactly, with the famous audios, you'd see one reel with 10,000, one audio with 10,000 reels, one audio with 10,000 videos with the same idea or the same concept, blah, blah, blah. So that brought a lot of awareness to brands who started doing that and using this. So I always say, why not have yours? Why not, instead of following a trend, why not set one? So sonic branding can help you set the trend. And then depending on the type of brand you are and industry you are, it's conceptualized from zero. So I've worked with pretty much every single industry. And I'm sure people who have been listening to me ramble so far would be like, okay, what has this guy done? 115. You guys know, let's say, insurance market, Al Futem, let's say Barakat Juice, let's say Dubai Police, let's say STC in Saudi Arabia, which around, I guess, 11 million people know my music on hold. Yeah, that's how much this thing can grow. You've got from Air Arabia, you've got from Rixos hotels on planet Earth. So even if you go to Rixos in Germany, it's the same music as you're hearing in Dubai, as you're hearing in Saudi. It's the same brand. If you know Kellogg's, if you like that cereal brand, and quite literally countless others, just to name a few. And each and every one of those were complete exercises. They were not like, okay, just make us the music with the logo or whatever. Schumart, which is Landmark. Center Point. I can keep going on and on and on. Super proud to announce as well, not yet released, but I'm allowed to talk about it now. Apparel Group. If you go to BBZ, LC Waikiki, if you go to RMB or any of these stores, they're all about to be branded with their own unique music identity across all of these shops. So every single retail shop will have identical music and their social media, digital, online, phone lines, and everywhere in between. That's for Apparel Group. So it's really massive.
It is monumental. I think the impact that you've created is really monumental.
It's immeasurable, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've understood from sonic branding is that it's the emotional connection that you create with the audience.
Immediate,
yeah,
and simultaneous connection you create with the audience in a level and in a part of your brain that is beyond the visual. You can remember a song from your childhood in 2 seconds if it makes you feel a certain emotion.
Right.
That's where sound sits in your subconsciousness.
Memory. Relatability, and you can quickly pick up things
in a split of a second.
Yeah.
Why should a brand be known by its sound?
Yeah.
It's not about it being known by its sound. It's about the entire thing coming together.
Correct.
Completing the brand and sound being one of the key elements of the puzzle. I'm not saying that you don't have these parts of the brand and much more. If my hand can hold more, I would have held more. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you add an impact that actually sits as a part of it, as a try. Sound is simply an asset that nobody took advantage of. Most people. And the problem there, and I would say it openly, is pricing. And you cannot sell a product like sonic branding as if it's a jingle, because people call them jingles, which they're not, by the way. A jingle is a short form that lives, a short form piece of music that works on an ad, and it lives for a very short period of time. Come and buy our Snickers bar.
I'm loving it.
For example,
right.
I'm loving it is a sonic that is done in a jingle style. For example, insurance market, which is mine, is a sonic that's done in a jingle style. So that's a purposeful decision of making it jingly, but it's actually a sonic.
Right.
It's just dressed up as a jingle. You know what I mean? But it's not a jingle. And then if you look at, like, for example, I just finalized Blue Rewards, which is a rewards program. And it goes ta-na-na-na-na, boom. So that little boom at the end actually sounds like the word blue, which is the brand. So it really goes deep into the ethos of the brand and the actual characteristics of the brand beyond a campaign or beyond one idea that the brand is putting out there. And this can help the brand
10x
more.
Absolutely. Multi
Much more,
times,
much
10x.
more, depending on who they are. But yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry if I bored you guys, but this is actually what I do. One of the things I love doing, and this is how
Yeah.
complex it is.
Right. Sonic branding. So we have elements of jingle, for example.
Yes.
We have the logo music as well.
Yes, so that's
Right.
the main signature. So
Right.
the it gets animated to the logo and all that. So that is the actual signature itself.
Right.
But depending on the size of the brand, you will have different variations and different adaptations and all of that. Just of that 4 seconds.
Right.
So instead of having one version, you can have like 18.
Correct. When we open our TV in the evenings and we want to watch
And you want to watch Netflix, what do you hear?
Ta-dam!
Exactly.
Right? That is the
That's the Sonic
Sonic, right?
of Netflix.
You call it logo Sonic or whatever.
Sonic
it is called.
signature
Sonic signature
would be the right way.
Right.
I'm actually working on a brand that is, I can't say who yet. I'm almost done, but it's taken a while. I'm super honored and proud, but they're a competitor of Netflix. And they're also not just in Dubai at all.
Okay.
And I am currently creating their very own babam.
Right.
And with the millions and millions and millions of people
Right.
that use it, very, very soon, I will quite literally be in your homes beyond the brands you already know me by, but quite literally on your TV. So get excited for that.
Other logo signatures that come to mind are Intel, for example, or
Yeah.
when you open Windows.
That's
on
the
your PC.
old school. So
Right.
that style is gone now.
Right.
But they're still used as like case studies. But the reason why is because we all grew up with them. But in Dubai, for example, very funny story, and this hasn't happened once. My own work was referenced by clients meeting with me and discussing Sonic brand. Like, I want it to sound like X and Y and Z. And I'd be like, I'm the one who composed X and Y and Z. They'd be like, oh, we had no idea. I'd be like, but I sent you did you check the portfolio? Oh, you have a lot in there, so we couldn't go through all of it. Yeah, but like, look for the names. I mean, just read who I've done. Even if you don't want to listen to all of them, just get an idea, you know? But yeah, the impact itself is not just about the impact I did, but rather the natural gifts and qualities that I have that are able to translate into a brand identity or a brand sound. And that's the mix of experience and just my natural excitement.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll show you something cool. I have this brand, okay, which I can't name right now, but I came up with their identity before I even approached them or they approached me. Like, it's just came out of nowhere. Literally, it landed in my brain. I saw their logo on a truck and they're, let's say, UAE and GCC based because they export throughout the GCC. But, and their marketing is in the GCC. But anyway, long story short, I just saw it for a second and their visual branding is so good that it actually airdropped a melody in my head. And I'm just like, what? And I opened up my phone. I have my little where I write my ideas. So I write my ideas
There you
here
go.
before I actually go to the studio and where. And I don't know why or how or where, but I swear to God, it's just, I can't say who the brand is, but let's say they're fun, they're bright. They're similar to like the work I did for Barakat or Car Switch or who else is fun that I did? Rolling Wheels, I've done their Sonic. Who else is cute? I mean, a bunch of others that are similar to those brands. But anyway, it sounds like this. So the main melody goes, and then the full thing is. So that little thing captures the brand so well
Right.
that when I sat down with the team, they're like, but we haven't even explained to you who we are and our brand values and how did you figure it out? Like, God did.
That's so beautiful. Now, brand values you mentioned. Of course, when you create sonic music, you'd go back to something to pull it out, basically, right?
Yeah.
And the brands who have identity, of course, either visual or in the form of a logo, they want to convey a message to the audience.
That's true.
They want to be seen in some light, and it's a message.
It's
Branding
a weighing
is a
system.
message,
It's a
right?
weighing system,
Communication,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what type of things you look at to be able to come up with the brand identity in audio form, which is sonic music?
I do the usual stuff, which is the brand guidelines, the brand history, the brand ethos, and all of those. But my actual way of doing it is just natural. I don't know. I read a bunch of stuff. I experience the brand. If they're a food company, I eat from there. If they're a juice company, I drink their juice. If they're a cookie company, I eat their cookies. If they're a hotel chain, I stay in their hotels. If they're an airline, I fly on their plane. And I experience the actual brand itself myself. And I think, what do they sound like? And not just keeping in mind their local relevancy or regional relevancy or global output and adaptations and all that. I just think, what would make people's day better? Because they're gonna hear this all the time. What would make their days better, but also match the brand so incomprehensibly well? So I really just put myself in the seat of the listener, in the seat of the person who's there, and then I just make it with love, and I mean a lot of love. So you can go to 1,000 restaurants serving, I don't know, shawarma, but why are there like 3 places that just stand out beyond? There's that unique juge, I guess. There's that unique vibe.
What do you feel from these places? I mean, of course, it's something, you get the feel of it when you visit the place, you stay there. What do you actually extract?
You know, some brands, it's hard to figure it out. Like, I just finalized and delivered the official Sonic for Arab Bank in the entire Middle East. So it's one of my newest massive projects, alongside Apparel Group and a bunch of others. But Arab Bank, for example, I want you to trust me with your money. Me, if I am Arab Bank, I want you to trust me with your money, and I want you to trust my expertise and my heritage. Because Arab Bank goes back to the 40s, right? It's a heritage brand. It's a major brand. They have thousands of retail shops, blah, blah, blah. So they're massive. First thing you see is, oh, okay, they're massive. So the output is going to be everywhere all the time. It's massive. But how do I convey that trust us? We know, and we've known what we're doing for a very long time, but we're also rebranding. We're becoming newer, younger, all of that. But we're still the same people who will take you very, very serious. What worked with Arab Bank was a melody that goes around, I called it Around the Family. So it goes from the father to the mother to the kids and back. So there's no stopping the growth that we can help you go through. And the start has only just begun with who we are. So I took that idea or concept and I'm like, okay, what does that sound like musically? How does that, like, if I were to put these family members together? And I ended up with, if you don't mind me playing it.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm just going to go to their Instagram, Arab Bank. These are the variations, but I want to get the main stuff. Yeah. And immediately. So
what are they conveying in this?
I guess, first of all, is a melody. It's very bright, very positive, and you want your bank to be positive. You want your experience with your bank to always be good, because everybody works so hard for their money. You want to know your money is safe. Your money is not always yours most of the time. It's your family's, your kids. It's shared. So you want to know not only that it's safe, but it can grow. So when I think positive, when I think growth, when I think trust, and I hear this melody, let's hear it again, it conveys that to me quite effortlessly, actually. And then you've got the main asset of memorability and all that. But basically,
Conveys trust as well, calmness, soothness to me.
yeah.
Right?
But then if you look at, like, for example, another brand that is a bit, I wouldn't say more serious, but I would say just more, like, and that would be, for example, the trading platform CFI. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So basically with CFI, I just need to find one that it has it in it. It should be every reel, but let me just, okay, there we go. So, like, let's say with CFI, I want to say, okay, just check this out. Let's see if you figure it out.
CFI, empower yourself.
CFI, empower yourself. Which is obviously me. But that melody, especially that something has to do with business. Okay, just CFI, empower yourself.
It's a journey that you're showing, I think.
Do you know why? Ta na 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 na. What do stocks do?
The journey.
They go down and they go up.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Exactly.
Ta na 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 na. It makes a perfect V.
Right.
The melody makes it. Your stocks can go down,
Yeah.
but we promise you they're gonna go right back up because CFI, empower yourself, empower your mindset, and empower every part of you. So that went into the core identity of the brand now. So it's beyond the sonic. Now it's part of the core ethos.
So they've reflected their values, the entire journey that the customer goes
Of course,
through.
which then goes into the brand
Right.
values.
And one thing that I've noticed is that, of course, there's a lot of hard work that goes back.
Oh yeah, it's months of work.
Into creating something.
Yeah,
Not every brand audio identity or sonic music goes viral.
that is
or
true.
It resonates with people. It can
That is true.
backfire. It can be a flop as well, right?
Absolutely. That's
How
for
many flops have you created?
none. That's for everybody else who had decided not to work with me because they wanted the cheaper option. Sorry, but it's your decision. But actually, 90%, if not more, of my work is immediately recognizable. One of my favorite things to do is show my portfolio to people and they'd be like, I had no idea. And I'd be like, I know. I know. And I love that.
But the most famous, the tunes that you've created. I mean, I can resonate with the insurance market. They've done a lot of marketing.
Yeah,
of course.
insurance market is fun, but again, if you look at like Kellogg's, that's planet Earth. You know, like you need to look way because we live here. Naturally, your head would go to the brands here, but then you have brands in Saudi that are no. You have brands in Qatar that are no there. You have brands that I've done in like I'm just finalizing something with someone in New York or a good brand in New York that's gonna be known in New York. So no matter where you go, oh my God, forgot about this. There's a hotel chain called Taj Hotels, right?
Yes.
So here are some facts about them. 1902 established. 385 current properties on planet Earth. 4 different categories. The palaces, the business style ones like the Taj Dubai here. They have more than 100 of that category. The resort, like the Taj Exotica and Taj Maldives, whatever. And then the safari, which are in Africa, which are safari themed hotels. They're all 5 stars, they're all major. Imagine creating an identity that combines all 385 in a singular experience. For every single guest, from the lobby to the hallway, to the room, to the phone system, literally to the social media and everywhere in between. I just did that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So hopefully by the time this comes out, it's going to be live.
Many congratulations on that. So let's talk about the bottom line results for a company. Of course, a business is standing on its legs.
Yeah.
And cash flow. Cash flow is the blood circulation in the body of a business. And the net profits everyone is looking for. What is the impact of the sonic branding on the net bottom line of a company? Typically.
Think of it this way. You have a fridge. You have different vegetables. You have different types of fruits. You have different types of meats. You have your bread and you have your condiments. However you make your sandwich, it's going to feed you. It's going to give you nutrition. It's going to give you, don't use that processed meat, it's not good for you. Get some fresh ones. But it's going to give you the nutritions you're looking for. A brand creates all the essential assets to survive. A sonic branding is what you do when you want to grow. The reason why is because of how well it integrates with the person's subconsciousness beyond the initial sandwich and its condiments and its ingredients. How does that impact a legitimate ROI of a brand? First and most logical answer is the following. It's better to have it than not to have it. That's the starting point before we even get into any details. Exposure from it is where it matters as an initial step. Second of all, every single human being on this planet, give or take, finishes work and listens to music in their car on their way home. Every person who's sad, happy, whatever, uses music to evoke that. People go to places to dance. Music is a part of the daily life of every single person. Exposure to media needs to include sounds and music, but not in the sense of I'm going to make a jingle or I'm going to make this or I'm going to make this or I'm going to make that. It's more in the sense of how do I unify my brand so that I build trust, actual trust, and trust value with the consumer, with the customer that I have. And I build trust through this music. Now, to actual businessmen, they'd listen to this and be like, what's this guy talking about? Well, the answer is very simple. Go to your son and daughter, play them some of my work, and tell me they won't smile. Because they're going to recognize quite a lot of it.
Of course, they would, yeah.
That is not just the current generation that you're converting. That's the future generation.
Right.
There are people who remember music from brands from the 90s. And to this day are loyal to a brand because of it. So what does it bring? Infinitely more than what it doesn't bring. How does the ROI actually work? It's cheaper than conventional marketing. It's faster impact. And it can create new ideas and activations beyond the current model of marketing and social media that 99% of brands use. So you grow the brand, you create an actual recall system for the brand, you create awareness for the brand, and then you create and craft new ideas and new outputs and new touch points, all utilizing one product.
So what you're telling me, the return is infinite. I mean, you can't...
The return is infinite if A, you believe that you need it.
Yeah.
And you do. 99% of brands do. What I love is most brands haven't done it.
Yeah.
But the more I do global brands, the more I do impactful brands in this part of the world. I mean, what's funny is I once lost a Sonic because I'm too expensive. By the way, you know what I love about what I do? If we were talking about 10X, I 10X'd myself to the point where in 2024, I proudly lost 5 projects because of one simple reason. Literally, I'm too expensive. I found out that the people who are starting to do this in this part of the world, from Dubai and beyond, one of them charged specifically 7% my bare minimum. So my bare minimum, he charged 7% of that. Or it's a company. A whole company, 7%. And the other one, 30%. So I, as a singular artist, am 4 times more or up to 5 times more expensive than the most expensive other supplier in this part of the world. And I'm just one guy. But the experience I have is 5 to 7 years ahead because I started 5 to 7 years before. And then you have the actual successes of what I brought on the table. I hold 20 plus awards, blah, 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 blah. But more importantly, I am made for it. And I'm also getting into scoring. I'm going to get into movies. I'm going to get into Bollywood. I'm going to get into Hollywood. I just worked with Hans Zimmer's Loire Kotler, the voice of Dune, on the Festival City Imagine show, the Fountain show. This just got released, by the way. I haven't talked about this a lot. Today, you got to hear about apparel. You got to hear about Taj Hotels, which is massive. And you're hearing about the Imagine show for Festival City Mall. So I created a score which is inspired by the sonic of Festival City malls in the Middle East, which is ta-na-na. Go to Festival City, listen to at the end of every reel, and then the longer variations which are applied to reels, call them on the phone, you name it, it's all there. So this piece is 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It contains 262 layers of instrumentations and 87 layers of vocals. And who did I decide I want to be my partner on this project, my vocalist, the incredible, the phenomenal Loire Kotler, who is known as the voice of Dune, the Habiba, who's also sang Gladiator, who's also done major projects with Mr. Hans. And the fact that I got to work with her, I created a one-of-a-kind sonic activation, utilizing an entire fountain show that hundreds, if not thousands, visit every single day, because I've been there. I've seen how many people are there. And you have this theme piece, which is the official piece of the show. Because all the other pieces they have, some of them are composed, some of them are, just guided with that. But then when you have all the lights and the lasers and the fire and the blah, 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 to have an official piece that is related to the mother brand, which is Festival City, which owns the Imagine show. And it's all tied together. And then obviously a Hollywood artist. And I had the privilege of talking to certain people about this particular project. And it was one of those pieces of sound where, please go to the Imagine show in the Festival City Mall. It starts with, like you'll recognize it. But I mean, it has the voice of Dune on it. Come on, it's not that hard to recognize. So she's quite well known on planet Earth. So and she's probably gonna watch this. Love you, Loar. So anyway, no one had ventured to the level I ventured in proving the value of sonic branding, proving the effect of sonic branding, and the identification of the brands. So when people say, I like your work on insurance market, they have no idea about my work on Al Futem. They have no idea about my work on, I don't know, Shoba Realty. They have no idea about my work on Wasl Properties. Or, I mean, it's countless. It's countless.
Absolutely.
You really got to look into what I've done.
So you've touched a very important point of pricing.
Yeah.
Of course, you've said that you're very expensive.
I wouldn't say I'm very expensive. I would say in relation to the global market, I'm quite cheap.
That's fine. My question is related to startup businesses, for example.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
SMEs.
actually a very good point.
We have a lot of clients who set up their businesses, and they're young entrepreneurs. And what it essentially means is that because of your price point, you are essentially inaccessible to this huge crowd.
Not at all. If I like the brand, if I believe in the brand myself, I will give them a special package designed for them. It will be able to fit their budget, their requirements, and it would happen in multiple phases.
Right.
So instead of getting a big package, which by the way includes over 12 pieces of music, some of them up to 7 minutes long, so not just that little 4-second melody, it's all of their activations. I would create that package by phase, meaning I'd be like, okay, phase 1, we'll do the 4 seconds and X and Y. Phase 2 will be A, B, and C, which we missed out on at first, and then phase 3 would be the remaining assets.
Right.
And that's the bare minimum that they need. But what's amazing about Sonic is that it's a one-time purchase.
Right.
So it lives with the brand 5 to 10 years on average. And that's it. It doesn't live again. Like, you don't have to redo it. You can evolve it for sure. Like I've done with many, many clients, but you don't have to actually redo it every few years. And that's what's amazing about
That's hugely appreciated. I think.
And there's something called ownership, by the way. So a lot of artists globally make a lot of money on residuals, on royalties, right? So when you create a sonic branding, the licensing is owned by me, not by you, the brand. I can sell you the licensing, whether by year, by quarter, or forever, perpetuity. But all of that will affect. And the bigger brand you are, the bigger the thing will be. So when you're a startup, you don't have to worry about that. You will get that ownership from the very start. So do it from the very start and actually take advantage of it. I mean, have you seen the kind of content people use on social media? It's not really good. So the point of sonic branding or the music on social media, for example, some of the adaptations is not to put it in the background, but actually use the music to craft your ideas, to be the stepping stone of what kind of content represents your brand. And sound gives birth to visuals. Someone can listen. You know, when you make a movie, the composer of the movie, like Mr. Hans and others, do not watch the scene and compose on top of it. They read the script and compose, and then that's adapted to the screen by the director and the team and yada, yada, yada. Sonic branding is very, very similar. The music is done first, and then it's adapted. Now, what's unique about me, and I'm very grateful to that, on knock on wood. I love your pool table, by the way. Love the pool table.
Thank you.
What I love about it the most, and what I love about myself a lot, is the fact that I can do end to end. Meaning I can envision the concept. I can envision the type of visuals. Like I am a consultant, a branding expert, a sonic branding leader in this part of the world, thank God, and so much more in one. Yeah. So I'm end to end.
Beautiful. So this is a message for all the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs out there. Ahmed is not out of your reach. He's available. There are various things that he can do for you, and you don't need to worry about the money factor. Of course, he's expensive, but not for you. Is that right?
I am happy to help anyone who's looking for help to grow and believes in what I've done, what I do, and in themselves. And that's it.
Absolutely. It's a cause, right? I mean, eventually, I think the way you show you express your passion for this, cause is just phenomenal.
And then the way you see people, like for example, I run a school here called On the Field Academy, which is one of my businesses.
Yeah.
And I also run Mindloop Studios, which is Dubai's biggest audio post-production house, where we record hundreds of voiceovers. We have every language humanly imaginable.
Yeah.
We work with incredible agencies and incredible clients for all of their voiceover needs, music composition, sound design, just really everything that has to do with audio production. And we are super, super, super happy to do this. I don't get as much involved as I used to because now I do my own things, but I have an incredible team. And the company has been in Dubai since 2001, the official license. And I became a partner in 2017. And I'm super proud to say I took over in December.
MashaAllah, many congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a huge achievement.
I'll be forever grateful to the founder for showing me the way and truly holding my hand in every way. Huge. But because we have hundreds, like exactly 450 voices there of any language you can imagine, all the way to Chinese and Japanese and Nigerian English, we can get you whatever you need. But it gave birth to another idea, which is now called officially On the Field Creative Academy, which is Dubai's first voiceover education platform, which is one-on-one, and every program is custom-made and tailor-made to you personally, your tonality, your capabilities, and also your personality. Yeah.
You're teaching music to people now.
Not music, voiceover.
Voiceovers.
Specifically voiceover, end to end, A to Z.
Can you teach me some, please, right now?
I'm happy to teach you. So at the moment, we are 5 teachers in total. I don't teach that much, but I've written the curriculum and it has been tested and tried with 79 students. The program is 18 weeks long and there's little to no information about it online on purpose. It's by invite only. So after you get an invite, you have to go through a 2-week process to get accepted or denied entry to the school. But what we do is that we don't just teach people, we equip them with 4 years of experience. We equip them with everything that they will require, and also around 35 global and regional and local suppliers, and connect them to them so that they can actually start working. And then we also have an audio part of it where we help people record, edit, mix, and master their content to work on a global scale. So they can record comfortably from their home. They don't have to go to a company like mine, Mindloop Studios. They can work comfortably from home. And so this curriculum came to me. And now we're almost literally at 80 students. Like, it was insane.
Huge achievement.
There's a girl called Sophie who I'm unbelievably proud of, okay? And she sang on a bunch of songs. She's 8 years old. I believe now she's around 10. But when she started school, she was around 8. She sang on a bunch of songs because we taught her. And then she did around 12 to 15 voiceover gigs. So this girl is not even now 10 years old. And people at school have heard her voice. Another one, her name is Angie. And Angie is one of the students I'm beyond proud of. Today she's like 16 or 15. I'm sorry, Angie, if you watch this, I forgot how old you are. And Angie started with us when she was around 13, 14. Now she's become one of the main voices used by NEOM in Saudi Arabia. So there are hundreds of millions, or tens of millions of people who have heard this 14-year-old's voice, who a year before had no idea voiceover existed, nor her parents. But they heard about me and they heard about the school, and we let them in, and her voice is incredible. And we have many case studies like that.
Right.
So
tips for me now.
Right. So the thing about voiceover is that there's something called pacing and there's something called tonality and modulation that you have to identify. So you've got what we call the classic voiceover. And the classic voiceover goes like this. It has a step 1, then a step 2, and takes you all the way to step 3. And that's why no matter the kind of content that you're seeing or the kind of content you're consuming, you can always rely on Company X, because Company X always there for you. And that's what we call the tagline or the ending of it. So that's the classic voiceover. Then you've got someone who would be more serious, like a narrator, right? And that someone would be, for example, since 1977, we understood our mission and we made it about you. Now it's more friendly. It's more like you're talking to the audience. And ever since then, we continue to grow to give you that goodness. Whether it's a brand about milk or whether it's a brand about X and Y, we know what makes you stand out. And then you've got the announcement voice, which is what I'm known for, obviously. And that's all I do. Like, for example, in the Dubai Opera, my English and my Arabic are different tones, but the messaging system is identical. From the ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dubai Opera. Please note The show is about to begin in the next 30 minutes. السيدات والسادة، مرحبا بكم في دبي أوبرا. يرجى العلم إن العرض سوف يبدأ بعد 35 دقيقة. So the article, it's really, I don't know how I do it, but I mean, I've built a curriculum about it, but the way that it goes is that it has to go in. So first of all, you identify what type are you? Are you all of these? Can you be all of these? And then there's something called voice acting, which is more complex than voiceover. If you've seen the TV show Family Guy, that's all voice acting. Seth MacFarlane does 5 characters on the show, from Brian to Peter to Stewie to, hey, Stewie. And then you go, haha, Peter, like whatever. Like these are shifts of modulations and actual acting. But long story short, you identify which one of those you are, and then you have the shifts. So when it comes to the tonalities, for me, I have access to multiple tonalities. And in my school, we built something called, I'm super proud of it, it's called the Speedy system, which was inspired by the McDonald's original system. And you have high energy, mid energy, low energy, and then you have high tone, mid tone, low tone. Okay, so let's say high energy, high tone. This is a high tone with high energy. This is a high tone with mid energy. And this is a high tone with low energy. This is a mid-tone with high energy. This is a mid-tone with mid-energy. And this is a mid-tone with a low energy. This is a high tone, this is a low tone with high energy. This is a low tone with mid-energy. And this is a low tone with low energy. So we bring all of that out of people. We identify where they fit, blah, blah, blah. So with you, it would be the same thing. It's not as simple as do X and Y and Z.
It seems quite complex, by the way. I'd rather stick to my podcast. But give me some tips how to improve my voice in the podcast and make it more impactful.
Yes, first of all, you see your God-given gift. For you, Muhammad, I love your voice naturally. When I spoke to you the first time on the phone, you sound reassuring, trusting, and kind. So that is your personality merging with the physical voice God gave you. Okay, that's one. The second way to use that is starts from within. People, when they enter my school, they think that they're gonna learn how to read scripts and do voices. In reality, the first 3 to 4 sessions, it's a therapy session. And we actually have a behavioral therapist who's full-time. So we have a legitimate therapist that gets involved in the program creation. It's about you. It's about the things you want to show the world. When it comes to a voice can be changed and modulated. First of all, the first thing you do is that you talk from your chest. You don't talk from here. So when I'm talking, a lot of air is coming out. That is bringing excitement. Now, I'm not raising my voice. I can lower my voice quite a lot. I can make the volume low. But the amount of air that's coming out of me is keeping people interested. Depending on the message I'm saying, I can talk on this level and then I can go all the way back up on this level. I can make an impact where certain words hit in a certain way. So when I'm telling you something and I'm getting to the other part, I'm making sure that you are expecting an impact. So when I give you that impact, you already expected it, even if you didn't know. This is human psychology. So a lot of these things impact you. So what would work with you genuinely? Speak loudly, speak proudly, speak with a higher volume, identify your tonalities, and take it forward. And you know how I even built the school? Sonic branding. Because I had 7 years before I built the school. Now it's 11 in total. But let's say 8 years of making the official music identity for brands. I was studying brands in and out. I was going to details people can't even imagine to create what I've created. And then when I went to create the school, I had no idea I had all the experience to build a curriculum because of sonic branding. And I simply applied that to the world of voiceover and boom, 79 students. It's actually mind-blowing. But I don't like to talk about these too much because I want the people to come and experience things. And that's
I'd love to visit your school.
Please, welcome.
Very soon. Let's make a plan.
My school is in Al Quoz and my production house is in Media City.
I'd love to.
These are my 2 offices.
Very soon, inshallah.
Ahla sahla.
Right. So, first of all, thank you so much for the tips. I'd implement these as soon as I can. Now, talking about personal branding.
Yeah.
Have you helped any personal brands?
No.
Okay.
I've helped. So in my school, other than the voiceover program, which is 18 weeks long, we have another program which we launched recently, around less than a year ago, called the Speech and Communication. And this program is we've only had 6 students. But one of them is a very important man. His name is Ronaldo Mushawar, who is the CEO of Amazon in the Middle East and the founder of Souk.com. In case he ever watches this, miss you, bro. I hope you're well. Much love. Ronaldo and others have bespokely taken advantage of the ability to grow precisely the goals that they want as business leaders in terms of personal branding, presentation, even podcasts, even interviews, even public speaking, and everywhere in between. But it became very much about them. So in that sense, I've helped, for sure. And by the way, I am the only teacher in that program. I don't have a single other teacher teaching the speech and communication. I'm the only one.
So you will be my teacher.
If you'd like to join the school, yes.
Yeah.
It's 12 weeks long. It's bespokely made, also with our behavioral therapist, and it's all about speech and communication. So like, let's say you don't want to be a professional voiceover, but you want everything else from the program. That's the speech communication. And then you want it to be business tailored, it will be business tailored. Because our programs are custom made, meaning we have a template, but that template is remade from zero for each and every student. From students from 9 years old to the eldest we've had thus far, Miss Etna Trainer, who is 68. She woke up and decided to be a voiceover. Love you, Etna. So it's insane. And the speech communication one filled the gap where voiceover didn't matter, where the client didn't want to be a voiceover. They don't want to do this for a living or even a side gig or nothing, but they wanted everything from it. I want to be better at podcasts. I want to be better at public speaking, presenting myself, when this, when that, dealing with my team, having respect. Some people run businesses, their teams don't respect them because they don't have the energy out, you know? They would obviously be very nice to them because they're the boss, but they knew, and the employees knew that they didn't respect. So they would come to me and be like, privately, of course, they'd be like, what's up? And then obviously we all sign NDAs. So I'm not allowed to tell you anything that happened behind those rooms. And they're not allowed to say what I had done for them, whether the speech communication or the voiceover students, not only me, but also my teachers. So this is On the Field Creative Academy, Dubai's first one-on-one, custom-made, tailor-made programs by yours truly. And sonic branding is what I love doing day and night. Mindloop Studios is where any agency and client and brand who obviously cannot use my voice. I have almost 500 other voices. Please come. You don't need me. You need a brand voice. You need an ad voice, yada, yada, yada. But all of it is a culmination of who you want to represent yourself to be. And today, Muhammad, and I'm saying this on your podcast publicly, the welcome I got, the kindness. They have a microphone. Like, that's how cool this guy is. They have a microphone out there to just see. I'm imagining Muhammad going, good morning, team. Today, this is our goal. And like, how cool is that? I'm sorry, but if you're going to work a job, might as well work with someone that cool. I'm not even that cool. I don't even see the people I work with. I like to hide on my own. So
it's an honor. Thank you so much, Ahmed.
it's truly
Really
though.
appreciate
It's
it.
genuinely like when I first discovered you, and I'm very grateful you've reached out. I mean, not every, like, some people could be watching this podcast, be like, why didn't he respond to my podcast? First of all, I don't even vet you. I have people who, when you send a request, they vet you. My LinkedIn, my Instagram, I don't even manage those, by the way. So I'm sorry if you didn't make the cut, but it's not about me. It's about the energy. Your energy came through on a digital screen. And now you've proved us right, not just me, but the people who liked you before I even knew you. And now I know what they liked about you. See, the whole point of Think and Grow is because you want people to think and grow from where they are today because of where you were. And that's not a simple thing, Muhammad. That's something that takes you from one place to another in life, and you want to give that. So when I see these little 8 balls right here, and every single bit of it, you knew how to hit each and every one of them in your life because you were patient, you're resilient. And now you're growing the things that probably made you uncomfortable one day. And that's how well you got out of your comfort zone. And for that, I say publicly, I am proud, and every viewer here should be proud because you're not just a business leader. You know how to think forward. And I have more than enough business people who are going to watch this and be like, you never said anything. I love you all. Every person I've worked with, every client from local, regional, and global, I love you all. But know that spreading goodness has no limits. And that's the truth, not a PR stunt. So that's it. So yeah, if you want to join the school, you want to join the school, it needs to be a hole-in-one.
Absolutely. I'll ask the audience if you have any questions for Ahmed Hafar. Please do drop them in the comment section, and he'll be happy to come back to you with the answers, with detailed answers. He's very, very detailed oriented. Okay, Ahmed. Right. So if Dubai had sonic music or audio voice, what would it be?
The sound of Dubai.
Yeah. You are the voice of Dubai. What would be the sound of Dubai?
I cannot comment on that at this stage.
Right.
We're gonna have to leave that there.
Contractually,
I cannot comment
Stop.
on that at
Yeah.
this stage.
but it would be very uplifting in my view. It would be full of energy
A lot more.
and hope
A lot more.
and
lot more.
growth. I guess.
Infinitely more.
Yeah.
No, look back.
Yeah.
Not just the current. Look way
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Built from there.
Absolutely. It goes
Built
back
from there.
to centuries. Actually, I mean, I've been studying Dubai history, and it's phenomenal.
You know,
I don't have any words to describe how long this city
truly
has come through
because
and-
of the visions of the leaders.
yeah, absolutely. It's
It's
the
the
leadership.
vision of the leadership. Look, I'm genuinely honored
Yeah.
to be here, to hold what I hold, and everywhere in between. I love everybody,
Yeah.
and I am in love with what the Dubai government and the UAE government was able to achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm based here,
Yeah.
right? I
Absolutely.
can make music from anywhere in the world. I can have clients from anywhere in the world, but I'm proudly
Yeah.
calling Dubai my home because Dubai is my home personally.
And in that sense, Dubai has made me what I am today.
Precisely.
For
And
example,
it made me who I am today.
Yeah, exactly. 10 years ago, I never ever thought like an entrepreneur. And here I am.
It's complex, huh?
Absolutely. Here I
Entrepreneurship is
am,
not a joke.
not only becoming a multi or serial entrepreneur, but having a cause like this. To me, Dubai is a message of hope, of
Yes.
thinking and growing. Essentially.
Precisely.
This is what I'm trying to reflect here.
And not only that, it's the ability to make people understand that Dubai welcomes you. Dubai welcomes innovation. Dubai
Yeah.
welcomes great ideas. Dubai is ready for more. UAE is ready for more. Always has
Absolutely.
been. And that's why I call the UAE my home. I call Dubai my home.
We're
And
very,
people-
very proud of that.
I don't even travel. You know that about me? I don't even travel.
I
I'm
guess
that
you
busy.
don't get the time out of your studios.
I mean, I'm proud to say my voice has traveled and my music has definitely traveled the world and it will continue to travel the world. And there are people, as me and you are talking, in UK listening to my music on a YouTube ad and having no idea it's me. And I'm sitting here talking with you. The impact I've had will continue to grow on a global scale. I mean, I'm just getting started, to be honest. But what I had to do, or the impact I had to do within this region, was nothing but proof. The same way you had your own proof for you. For me, I am one of the tremendously lucky few where my work is unbelievably famous, even if you don't know what I look like. And I take a lot of pride in that. And a lot of
You
people,
should.
again, go back to the voice thing. And I'm like, forget about the voice. If you live in Dubai, of course, 100%, it's an honor. But if you want to talk about mass exposure in terms of my music and what I've done for my brands, that's where that sits.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm here to do a job. I'm not
Yeah.
better than anybody. I'm here to do a job, but it's also not my fault that I'm better at my job than everybody else. So,
Yeah. What is the message that you give to the brands who do not appreciate sonic branding?
you spend more money on things that don't matter to impress people that you don't even like, that make little to no impact on your ROI. Sonic branding should be something you should think about. And there are other suppliers than me out there you can talk to if I am not your guy. But with 115 brands ranging every single industry that you can imagine, from finance to banking to entertainment to FMCG to airlines and literally everywhere in between, I think I can figure out what you guys sound like and help you grow from there. Ahla wa sahla, as we say in Arabic.
Grow from there. Can you say think and grow 10x in your deep, beautiful, iconic voice, please?
Think and grow 10x. And that's just the beginning.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Can we use this?
Yes. But make sure it's part of the actual podcast.
Yeah, of course.
I'll tell you
Yeah, of
later.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. That's fine.
You already know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now that's really appreciated. Thank you so much for
Thank you for
being with
having me. Thank you for having
Ahmed.
me. I'm so grateful. Again, thank you. You made this room, you made InZone, you made everything. I am a person here sharing my expertise in something that I love doing, which I am born to do. The same way you're literally born to do. You know what this is? This is a bunch of guys who were born to do what they're currently doing.
True.
And we're telling people they should do what they're born to do. It's not that complex, but everybody's held up by so much fear. And I think that's where sonic branding was very freeing for me. While I was on the way here, I was in a cab, traffic of Business Bay. And that one of my new Sonics played on the radio. Okay, I don't want to say who right now, but it played, and I'm like, "That's live." I didn't even know it went live, and I told the taxi, I'm like, "Can you raise the volume?" And he did. I'm like, "That's so cool." And then I opened up my laptop, and I played the actual file. I'm like, "It's not same." And he's like, "Same, boss."
There you go.
And
You
I'm
must be
like,
having
"Man."
those, incidents on a daily basis, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which part of the world. Like, I like some brands that are not in Dubai, which is a lot of my brands now are outside of Dubai in terms of sonic branding. And basically, say Abu Dhabi or Saudi or Qatar or Kuwait or whatever, and some global brands, I don't know the impact I've had on people until I meet them. Or I meet a client online who works in a company in Saudi, for example, and be like, "Oh, we've reviewed your work, and oh my God, you're behind X and Y." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they're like, and they start sharing their stories. When I first heard that, I was with here, my kid was singing it, my daughter loves it, and you get all these beautiful stories that just don't make you want to stop. And today, I name dropped a few major brands, which I don't think anybody watching this will truly understand their impact until they're live for a while. And obviously, Taj being at the top alongside Apparel Group as well, which is massive. But everybody shops for clothes, and hundreds of millions go to Taj on a monthly basis. And I'm about to be in your daily lives.
Absolutely. Well, and on that note, thank you, Ahmed, once again. It's been a super pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful
Muhammad.
conversation.
Indeed.
A
And I
lot
hope
of
everybody
learning.
enjoyed it.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. Stay tuned to Think and Grow 10x for more transformational episodes.